Alright, everybody. Good evening or morning whenever you are watching this video. I would like to apologize for the status of my voice. I was just at a football game for my high school. So my voice is pretty rough right now. But Hurricane Lee is currently 115 mile per hour or 100 knots based off the National Hurricane Center and has a forecasted peak of 140 mile per hour in 60 hours. Now, it is probably around 120 to 125 mile per hour now, and we could probably expect to see a category 4 to 5 peak. Now, this is what the looked like this morning, a very sheared storm, and that really took an effect on its core. But recently we've had a lot more convective bursts, and here's the newest scan. We have some very violent convective bursts with cloud tops of 90 degrees, and you can see we have lots of inflow coming into the storm and very clear outflow banding with this thing as well. So the storm is really starting to improve. This westerly shear that was coming at it from this angle is still kind of there on the southwest side, but it has subsided a good bit. You can see this look is way better than it was about 10 hours ago. It's went under some drastic improvements over the last really 3 hours. We've had these big time convective bursts. This is around where the center of the storm is, and it was probably battling some dry air along with this extreme wind shear. That dry air is being fought off now. Reconnaissance air flights are into the storm. Um, Currently, we have a plane that's about to go through this violent convective burst as I am recording this video. Hasn't really gotten into much of the stuff recently. We have a plane that's leaving the storm. Note that this SFMR reading is not right, but we do have SFMRs of probably 105 to 110 knots, which makes sense given the 115 knot flight level winds. So the storm is probably sitting between 105 and 110 knots. Based off recent extrapolated pressure readings, the storm is around 965, 62 millibars probably. Could be a little lower or higher than that because the extrapolated pressure does not read the best. Now, let's look at some of these forecast models, and we're going to look at the HWRF parent with Lee. So, the HWRF parent doesn't have the best initialization of Lee, but you do see it does weaken the storm, and we are currently around 60, and it's not quite this strength, but it's around here. We can see that it does really weaken over the next few days. And then it does peak again. I do think this second peak here is a little bit weaker than what we're actually going to get out of Lee. So yeah, why don't we go to the HWAFs model. We're going to go to hour 0. So, let's see. This is the latest run, 18 Zulu time around the 0Z runs haven't quite came out yet. Also, before I go into that, we can see there is an extreme amount of lightning in the storm. Shear is 17 knots, which is weakened. Oh, which the shear is a little bit weaker now. But we have lightning of just like 25 plus flashes a second with that big time convective burst. Now, this model did not initialize well at all. Did the HS be initialized better? No, so these models initialize too high. What about this one? This one initialized a little bit better. We do see a big time peak is expected again on probably Sunday, but the storm probably weakens a little bit too much based off this model run. Peak is expected Monday. Probably will be a category 4 to 5 storm at that point. We do see that the storm is probably going to go. While this model has it taking a more westerly track before heading northward, I would expect with something like this, we would be looking at potential for a New England landfall, which does seem like a possibility at this point. Here's a look at what the GFS does. Let me stop this model loop really quickly. Now, of course, the GFS will not do the best with the strength of this storm, but right now, it has the storm 2 weak. So the storm's probably going to be a little bit further west than what the GFS shows. But right now it does have a landfall near Newfoundland, so maybe move this a little bit further to the east and have it scraping by Nantucket. The stronger the storm is, the more west it's going to go, which is why I think a New England landfall is going to be a possibility. Let's look at some of these ensembles. Ensemble member MSLP, I think that's what it is. Yep. So we're going to go to regions and we're going to go to the Western Atlantic and look at this thing. We'll overlook at the 18Z run because that's what we have so far. So models really spread out as we get toward Wednesday of where this thing is going to be. It could be anywhere from the Bahamas or about to go toward Bermuda. And then later on Thursday, the storm could be anywhere from the Bahamas to Bermuda. So we really don't know where the storm is going to be. The mean for the storm is in between the Bahamas and Bermuda right there. We're not sure if that's really going to happen at that point. Let's move over to the northeast United States at this point, maybe. Oh, you can't use it for the northeast. Use it for the eastern United States. You can see here anything from a North Carolina landfall to a New England landfall is possible. The most likely spot's going to be southeast Maine for the continental United States. As we do see those ensembles get into the 2 range, but the spread is very high at this point, and we do not know if a U.S. landfall is going to occur. This is why the NHC cone, once this loads, my Wi-Fi has been pretty slow recently. This is why the NHC cone only goes out about 5 days here. And we currently have it from sitting west of the Bahamas to about to hit Bermuda. NHC takes that mean model approach where this thing kind of moves like that. And the cone only puts the center of the storm track. So we're probably going to have rip current issues in Florida and the Bahamas as well. And into the eastern United States. Not probably, we will. So far, here's what the wind field has been. And to give you some history, the strongest the storm has been officially is 145 knots, and it peaked last night. Alright, that is my briefing on Hurricane Lee. If you like this video, please subscribe and look out for new content. The content's going to be a little bit more spread out because I have school and I'm trying to focus on having a good year grade-wise. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.